Hello YouTubers, welcome back to 302 Gaming. This is episode 3 of Madden 101. This is a new series, like I said in the previous 2 episodes. A lot of people have been asking for updates on this, so I hope you guys have already seen the first 2 episodes by now and have liked, subscribed, or commented on what you guys think of the first 2 episodes so far. This will probably be the last episode, at least on this particular game. You've seen the first half, and it's already started the second half. So probably by the time I get done with this last episode, it'll probably be the end of this particular game. I'll probably start a new game, and I'll also start thinking of other ideas that I want to present to you guys. I'm not going to give you guys all my secrets, but I'm definitely going to give you guys the basics to make you guys a better player overall. I'd be stupid to give you all my secrets, because then you guys would beat me, which would not be cool. You guys need to earn a win against me from your own gameplay experience and strategies. But jumping into episode 3, the first tip I would recommend to you guys on how to improve your Madden game overnight, and like I said, all these tips are for Madden in general, not a specific Madden, and not even necessarily specifically Madden. If you want to be a football coach, all these same ideas are just simple ideas on how to improve a football game and how to coach a better football game. But let's jump into it. The next tip that I recommend, and is, like I said, this is another no-brainer, but you've got to do it, and if you struggle with it, you need to figure it out. I might have videos up there to give you the basics of this first tip in the future. That'll probably take a little bit longer because it'll have to be different gameplays, or I'll have to do it on practice mode or something like that. It's not a problem, but it's just something that's going to take a little bit longer to do, so you guys can actually see it, and I can walk through it as I'm doing it. But my next tip is to learn to read the defense. So many people struggle with this, and especially when you play good players, because good players can figure out how to disguise plays, and I'll get into that further in that other particular thing. But knowing when the person's in man-to-man, knowing when the person's in cover 3, cover 2, cover 4, all kinds of plays like that. There's even cover 8s, there's cover 1. Just knowing what the defense is in and what you're supposed to do to get around it, where the holes are in that defense, what you can do against man, what are man beaters, what are zone beaters, what beats a prevent defense, what beats a really quick blitz, what beats a user blitz, all of those things. How do you beat somebody who user plays the safety and is really good at it? All those things depend on how you even in the running the ball is huge. You got to learn how to read the defense in order to be successful with running the ball. It sounds stupid, but I promise you that is huge. Anybody that's good at running the ball, you see them, they go crazy. They'll start audibling, they'll start flipping the play, they'll start changing the run formation, and all of a sudden they break a big one off on you. It's because they've read your defense, they know where your hole is, and they're exploiting it. So you got to learn to run the defense and how to read it. But that's my number 1 tip. Like I said, I'll probably do a whole video in practice mode of just that, to give you guys the basic pointers of like how to get around man-to-man, how to get around cover 2, cover 3, and cover 4, because those seem to be the base defenses that everybody runs. And sometimes cover 1, but cover 1 actually in this particular Madden is really easy to get around. But I'll go over it anyway, just for future Madden purposes also, and maybe even this Madden 25, because I haven't really experimented against the defense with cover 1, because it seems like the computer doesn't run a lot of cover 1. A lot of the computer runs man-to-man and zone, but I'll get into that, like I said, in another video. My second tip is learn to adjust to the game. This doesn't really go with going against the computer. This is strictly for when you're playing users. You've got to learn how to adjust your game. If it's a tight game, you've got to figure out what they're doing, and you've got to adjust. And the quicker you adjust, the better chances you are of shutting them out in the second half. That goes for offense and defense. So, like, say you're playing a guy, and the beginning of the game, the guy's rolling screens, he's running the quarterback, all those type of things. So the way you would adjust to that is you would start playing with the middle linebacker. If you're good with the stick, you play with the middle linebacker. Make it really easy. That's the easiest way to stop both the screen and run the quarterback. You can spy with your quarterback, with the middle linebacker, and you can cut off the blocks with the middle linebacker. You can come in behind the block so that there's no blocking, and it's just a free one-on-one tackle. You can even hit stick the screen pass, or even intercept it if you're quick enough. But like I said, you got to learn to adjust. That's just one way to adjust to that one particular type. But if you can learn to adjust to the way people are playing, some people like to throw the tight ends all the time, especially in this Madden. This Madden is is known for everybody throwing to the tight ends nonstop. So sometimes what do? You double team the tight end. Sometimes you play a little zone and have one of the guys play under, one of them play over. You spotlight the guy. You tell the defense that it's going to be a pass play. You back them up. You can move people around. There's all kinds of different ways you can adjust. You can blitz. Sometimes people play two base defense and they don't blitz, and sometimes that can come back to bite you depending on who you play. Sometimes people get too aggressive and it comes back to bite you. It all depends on how the game is going, and you've got to adjust. Don't keep running the same defense expecting it to work when it hasn't worked in the first half. People get too, like I said in the previous games, I'm going to wear this saying out because it's the truth, and people don't see it. But people take this game too much of an arcade-style game. They don't take it realistically. They don't adjust. They run the same plays over and over and over again on both offense and defense, and then get frustrated as all get out when they lose. When you play a good player, you're not going to win running the same plays over and over again. I promise you. Okay. The third tip for this is learn how to develop a stiff defense. And honestly, this is probably the hardest tip for people to pick up on. Honestly, when I first started playing Madden and even ESPN 2K5, all you ESPN 2K5 fans out there, when I first started, I was absolutely horrible. I was one of those guys that tried to play with the Falcons and run with Michael Vick because that was the only way I could even move the ball. I was so bad at 2K. But the more and more I experimented with my defense is what turned my gameplay around. It got me more conservative on offense. It even got me more comfortable passing on offense because I started getting big leads. And the more I experimented, the better I got. And believe it or not, if you guys don't believe me, you can look it up. But before 2K5 was over, I was ranked 8th in the world, going from couldn't win a game to save my life to becoming 8th in the world just by using these simple strategies that I've already explained in this videos already. You just establish a conservative base, you run the ball, control the clock, control your turnovers, play conservative. Wait until the other player makes the mistake. If you play conservative and you keep up with the guy will get pressured, he'll make a mistake. When he makes a mistake, you pounce on it, you win the game. It doesn't matter if you win by 3 or if you win by 50. If you win the game, you've done your job. So play conservative and win the ball games. And the more ball games you win, the more confident you get, the better player you get. You start to open your playbook even more because you get leads on people. You can afford to take more chances and learn and mess around. And the more you expand your playbook, the more plays you learn how to do, the more timings you get down with different plays, the more lethal you will be against the next opponent because you'll have that many more bread and butter plays you can go to. And the more bread and butter plays you can go to, the harder and more frustrating it's going to be on defense for the other player. So that's my biggest tip for that, is learn how to do a stiff defense. But with that's a very complicated tip because there's a lot of different ways people like to play defense. Some people like to play as a safety and run around. Some people like to play as a defensive lineman and put pressure. Some people like to play linebackers and play coverage, or you try to user blitz. There's all different ways people like to play certain positions. I've even seen a few people that like to play cornerback. That's kind of more of a rarity normally, but some people like to do that. It's a high risk, high reward type defense. Some people like to play base defense. Some people like to bring the house consistently, keep you guessing. Some people like to mix it all up. You never know what you're gonna see. You gotta learn to adapt to the way you like to play. If you like to be aggressive, learn how to be aggressive, but not give up the big plays constantly. If you like to play conservative, that's fine too, but just make sure that you don't get too conservative where people are constantly driving down the field kicking field goals. If the other player scores every single possession, odds are you're not going to win. So you have to figure out ways to stop the player. Sometimes you got to keep them guessing. Play conservative the first couple drives, and then all of a sudden bring the house on them on a third down. They won't expect it. Learn how to adjust. Or at least learn how to adjust if your defense isn't already working. If your defense is working, by all means stick to it, make them change. There's no point in changing your defense if they can't get around it. But also, with this stiff defense, make sure you have a defense that fits your style. If you're the type of player that likes to run a 3-4 and you're kind of like a real physical defense, make sure you have physical players. Make sure you even have a 3-4 defense and you're not running 3-4 defense with a 4-3 defensive team. That will get you nowhere. People will run all over you. Your defense will be slow as all get out. You won't be able to do anything. So if you have a 3-4, you want to have a physical defense. It's all about the trenches with a 3-4. You got to have the three defensive linemen. They got to be able to take up the double team, so your linebackers have wide open chances to make the tackles. Make sure your middle linebackers are fast. Make sure your outside linebackers can get after the quarterback in the 3-4, because a lot of times those are your defensive guys, that defensive linemen that come in after the quarterback. If you're running a 4-3, make sure your defensive line can get pressure on the quarterback, because a lot of times that's all you're bringing is those 4 guys. Make sure your linebackers can cover. Depending on your style, make sure either your safety is good at coverage, or really big hitter, or a really good blitzer, or really good run support. Like I said, it all depends on how you like to play defense. But there's a lot of different ways you can do it, and you just got to make sure that however you play defense, that you have a defense that's supportive of that strategy. Like me personally, I like the more of the physical 3-4 defense. I have been able to mix it up with 4-3. I'm pretty decent with 4-3, but I'm nowhere near as dominant as I am with 3-4. Normally, anybody that you've asked that I've played, when I come out with a 3-4 defense, it's hard for them to get around me. I'm not going to say that I never give up points, but it's a lot harder than if I were to play with a 4-3 against them, because I've gotten used to the 3-4. I like the 3-4. I'm a Steelers fan. I've seen it firsthand of like what type of stuff works, what type of stuff doesn't work. So I mean, it's kind of trial and error. It will be frustrating to learn, but the more you can learn, the more it's going to help you. So I hope you guys have liked what I've had to say so far. If you have any other ideas or strategies or anything that you guys haven't heard me mention yet, by all means, please comment on here. I'm not afraid to make this new series basically a forum for people to get better at Madden. I don't have a problem with helping anybody. I've had a lot of people asking me for this type of thing. As far as like people asking me for like specific like money plays and stuff like that varies too much in Madden. Every Madden's different for that, so I don't really feel like that's going to help you. The best way for you to get better at the game is to learn the knowledge of football. The more knowledge you have of real life football, the better you will be in this game. I've been a football fan since I was 8 years old. I've learned firsthand. I've watched Dick LeBeau. That's why I've gotten good on defense. I've watched Bruce Arians and Wisenhunt, all those guys from the Steelers offensive coordinators, where they come out with all those crazy gadget plays and also play really conservative on offense. I've just took in by watching the games. You watch the games, you pick up a lot more than you think. Notice all the details. Pay attention to what kind of formations the guy's coming out with. Base your defense on what formation he's coming out with. A lot of people don't even do that. They'll pick the same defensive play over and over and over again, or pick the same formation and expect it to work every time. You've got to pick a defensive formation based upon the offensive formation that the guy's coming out with. If he's coming out with a 2 tight end set, you don't want to be playing quarters defense. You want to be playing 3-4, 4-3, or even nickel. But you don't want to be running anything else. You don't want to be running dime. You don't want to be running quarter. You don't want to be running goal line. You don't want to be doing any of those things, because they're not going to work. They're not set up to work against that type of defense. The same goes for passing formations. You don't want to be in a 3-4 defense when the guy's running 5 wide receivers. There's no way you're going to cover the whole field in a 3-4 defense, because you have 7 guys in the box when he has 5. So you just got to play smarter with it. Like I said, it's a lot of trial and error. But I hope you guys like what I've seen, what I've had to say so far in the first 3 episodes. I'll probably have more episodes to come. I'm not sure if I'll have another episode first, or if I'll start jumping into that reading the defense that I mentioned earlier in this video. I gotta try to go back to the drawing board and try to come up with some other ideas that I've used. I'm trying to be careful what I give you guys, but I don't want to give you too much information to where you guys end up beating me in the league games, because then obviously nobody's gonna watch my videos anymore. But I do want to help you guys. I do want to see you guys improve, and I want you guys to come back and show appreciation for me helping you guys. If these tips really do work for you guys and you win more games, by all means let me know. Or if some of these tips aren't working and you still don't understand what's not working about it, come to me. I have no problems with making another video, or even commenting on the video to let you guys know what's going on. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see in the future, or what you guys think of the video so far. But probably just going to let the rest of the game go. I think the game's already over, actually, so I probably better cut this commentary to an end. But thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.